Hi, everybody. Welcome to BC Brown Books and the Write-In Streaming. I have my co-host today, Dal Cecile Runo, which I hope I pronounced all of that okay. I'm sure my accent was terrible on it, but...
It's perfect. You did
Okay.
right. Hello, everyone.
All right, so it looks like we have quite a few people already. Grayson Wild and Misha Garrick. Hi, Misha. Thanks for coming for your first visit.
Hello, Misha.
And we've got Janine and Key is here as well as Devin. And Devin is being absolutely wonderful and streaming Chloe and Sandy's stream at the same time that they're streaming our stream here. So
wow.
That is, you're doing thumbs up, like triple, extra, double duty there, Devin. I'm sure. I know I appreciate it. I'm sure everybody else does too. All right. Hi, Barbara. Good to see you here. Just talked to you a little bit on Dana's stream as well. So for everyone who doesn't know me, my name is BC Brown, and this is my channel, of course. And I do videos about writing, publishing, and marketing books and helping authors increase their productivity, obviously. And yeah, that's me in a nutshell. I'm the published author of 7 titles, and I'm also a branding and marketing coach for authors. And now, Dal, I'll let you take it away and introduce yourself.
Hello there, humans. I am Dal Cecile Renault. I am a partially blind alien from another galaxy. I write sci-fi, of course. That's how I present myself. I also like to explore other genres with my short stories, and sometimes I write poetry. I am also working as a translator now. I translate between 2 languages, and so that's why sometimes I cannot do my own sprints. But whenever I'm in town, I'm going to be hosting and co-hosting. So hello there, here I am.
Wonderful. Yeah, you just got back from being out of town for your translation job, right?
Yeah, 2 weeks in a row.
Yeah, I remember because I was like, oh, it's Dal's stream today. And then I was like, oh, no, wait. They said they're going to be out of town for work.
But of course, now with the current situation, we cannot do that. So now everyone is quarantined.
Yeah, no, that I understand. So we are here in the States and the US, we are mostly self-quarantining at this point. So, but I know a lot of other places are actual strict quarantines, you know, set by cities or governments or things like that. So there's pretty much not a whole lot of travel for us.
Where I am, I'm in the very place where I live, there is no outbreak right now. But my job was affected because we work with US volunteers, so they come from the United States. So with this new travel ban, I have no job anymore for now.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, I know they restricted a lot of US travel, like where we're allowed to go and not allowed to go at this point, which other countries have basically said we can't come there. So we're like, okay, even the places we can visit still have said we can't visit. So I know it's affecting a lot of people's work, which really sucks.
It sucks big time.
Yeah. Okay, so since we, of course, I mean, it's always top of everybody's mind right now is the virus and what's going on. The good thing is that we're all doing, you know, online writing sprints anyway, so at least it's not going to affect that productivity. Even if it affects the job. Yeah. So I think we should probably just go ahead and get into our first sprint. Dal and I decided on the first sprint to be about 15 minutes long. But if you guys are all wanting to do a 20-minute sprint versus a 15-minute sprint, just pop a comment in there for us and let us know which ones you prefer, and then we will adjust accordingly. But for right now, we have an adorable 15-minute timer with a little cute puppy dog face.
Oh, look at that thing. It's so cute.
I know, right? I was trying to find an equally cute cat one because I know people are also cat people. So I thought if I could find one of both, but there really isn't a like up close picture of a cat. And maybe it's because cats just naturally swat at the camera or something when you get that close. But all right, so we're going to go ahead and get the productivity sprint. Now, remember, this is writing, creativity, outlining, eat your lunch, whatever it is that you need to do, go ahead and do. That's all that this is for right now. So we'll get this started, and I will do a countdown in 3, 2, 1, sprint. Maybe.
Sprint.
There we go, sprint. Okay. That is the end of our sprint this time for 15 minutes. So how did everybody do? Doll, what are you working on today?
I am working on social media graphics for some new Facebook groups that I made because I was very surprised that those two groups, okay, one of them is called Blind and Visually Impaired Writers. And that one had another group with like 50 people, but it wasn't very active. So I was like, okay, I'm going to make my own because it came out of another fellow blind YouTuber's live stream. And so we were talking, and there were some other blind writers. They were not aware of AuthorTube, etc., etc. And I was like, you know what? I am going to make it because I seem to be the link between the blind and the AuthorTube community. So I have one foot in both. So yes, I made that group, and I also made the hashtag Own Voices Writers because I am very surprised that that group doesn't exist. So yes, social media graphics.
Yeah, I saw that. Thank you for the invite to the Own Voices group, by the way. I appreciate that.
Woo!
I saw that, and I was surprised when you said that it didn't have its own group yet on Facebook, which I was like, that just seems really unusual to me. I mean, obviously, it's got the huge Twitter following and the start there, but I just thought it was weird that it didn't yet have it. So it looks like we had a few people that have popped in. Let me look here. Sorry if
I
my
can see I can see the chat now on YouTube.
Oh, good, good, good. So it looks like AuthorTube News slid in, which I don't know if that was just Caro sliding in originally and then coming back in as herself. That's always possible.
Or could be Tamara.
Could have been
Could be,
Tamara. Could be
yeah.
Tamara. And looks like Heather popped in as well. And Shannon, good to see you both here. Good to see everybody here. Oh, Grayson, I feel you. So Grayson said the last few days of being stuck at home has made me crazy, crave all the food. And I'm feeling the same way. I don't eat a lot. I don't eat out a lot. We tend to cook at home a good deal of the time, and we only order out on kind of like our lazy days. But even on our normal cooking days, I'm like, suddenly I want Chinese food and like burgers, and I want pizza. And it's just been crazy because I just want all the food that I really shouldn't have if I'm going to limit my potential exposure outside of the house too much. So I am actually working on beta reading, and I got permission, even though the book is not quite ready for release yet, I got permission to share it. So I am beta reading for an author named Lola Ford, and we can kind of see the cover of the book just a little bit. It's called Heart Scale. So far, it is an epic fantasy that obviously is about dragons, and I'm enjoying it so far. So that's what I have been doing pretty much most of the morning, except for I changed my graphic for next week's live stream because I'll actually be sliding into the Friday spot instead of the Monday spot. So I'll be Fridays from 3:30 to 5:30 instead of Mondays from 3:30 to 5:30 Eastern time. So Misha is got 174 words for the epic fantasy novel. Can't wait to read that because I am a huge fantasy buff. And Nicole updated her Goodreads blog, always a good thing. And Grayson is just happy that there's another dragons book because such a deep love of dragons, they say. So, and Janine was messing around with NaNoWriMo. Next up, getting back into your novel. I'm actually thinking about, I've never participated in the NaNoWriMo camp or Camp NaNoWriMo before, but I'm actually thinking of participating in it this year. So.
I'm going to try Camp NaNoWriMo. I always try. I never win it, but I do try.
Well,
it counts.
It counts. It counts. In my opinion, even during NaNoWriMo, even if you get any amount of words done during that month and you normally wouldn't have gotten that amount of words done, then you've still won. It's still a good thing.
My first NaNoWriMo was on 2017, and I wrote 47,330 total.
Okay, that's
so
pretty good.
I was close. I was close.
You were close. Yeah, you were very close. I think the first year I participated, I think the first year I participated, I ended up doing not quite 50,000 words. I think I ended up doing like 43,000 something or other. And I was so mad at myself for being 7,000 words short. And I didn't even stop to take the time that I had actually written 43,000 words in a month, which at that time in my writing career, I was not that prolific of a writer. I normally wrote in very like brief interludes, and I didn't type that fast. I just wasn't that quick of a writer, and I couldn't let myself even celebrate 43,000 words. And the next year I told myself no matter what, I was celebrating 43,000 words.
I am not, of course, I am not very fast. I have many typos and many problems, but and I wrote those 47,000 words all on an iPad. So not even a physical keyboard. And I wrote all that stuff.
Okay, that's impressive. That's just impressive.
So I did celebrate, but I was extremely tired and the book was not finished. So what I did was riding on the NaNoWriMo wave during the first week of December. And I said, I'm going to just keep riding on this boost wave, and I'm going to finish this book. It's just a few more chapters. You just have to finish it. And I did. I finished the first draft of the book. And then I have a first book, but it's not published. I am still editing that thing. Also working on the sequel, but I prefer to work on the sequel because, blindness, if that thing gets published, then I get a book deal, and then I am not capable of writing the second book as fast. So work on it.
I don't blame you there. I mean, I do it as well, and I don't have blindness to I mean, I have deafness, but that doesn't stop me from writing stop me from writing fast. That just slows me down a little bit on the live comments here on the stream. But other than that, I still bank books. I'm working on books 3 and 4 of my current Metaphysical Chronicles series. So I'm working on
Metaphysical? Oh,
yes.
I need to read that.
So books 1 and 2 are out right now. They're called A Touch of Darkness and A Touch of Madness. And they are actually coming up on their 10th anniversary. So they've been out for 10 years now, which is wicked awesome.
Wow. Okay. Next thing we're doing on the next sprint, Dal is going on Amazon and checking out those books.
Wonderful. Well, thank you. I appreciate that. So, so those 2 books are out in the Metaphysical Chronicles series, and then I have books 3 and 4 that I'm working on right now, and outlining book 5 while I work on and write books 2 and 3. And then I'm also writing my high fantasy or dark fantasy novel at the same time that I'm writing books 2 and 3 in the series, and outlining books 2, 3, and 4 for the fantasy series. So
wow.
I like to couch things. I like to have them in reserve and wait and wait to see how things are, like how quickly I'm going to be able to do things or how well I'm going to be able to get to things, because life. So Kara Kara was saying that deaf and hard of hearing just have spelling issues. Man, that is so true. We have spelling issues all the time. The live captions. So for those that don't know me,
spelling issues. I have spelling issues, but I speak like 3 languages. I speak like 3 languages. My brain doesn't know what to do.
Your brain's not quite ready for like which language you're on right then. But for speaking 3 languages, I think you do great. So it's not a problem.
Thank you.
So Jeannie was wondering how I outline my series. Sloppily, chaotically. Are those good answers? So as far as outlining my series, and I'm in my office right now. I'm not in my office. There isn't really a lot of extra wall space because you can see behind me my artwork that I have. Kind of see behind me a little bit, but so there's not a lot of extra space in here. Plus, if I put anything that could potentially flutter up on the wall, the cat would have it down in no time. So in my bedroom, beside my side of the bed, which I'm sure drives my partner crazy, but he never says anything about it, I have all of my outlines up on the wall in a very visual format. So there's magazine clippings and there's yarn and string that connects different index cards and post-it notes and all sorts of like crazy little handwritten notes and typed out things and things ripped out of magazines and newspapers. And it looks
Wow.
like it looks like a serial killer's shrine to something. Only really colorful. It's like really, really colorful. So that's how I outline those. I have I call it a black box, but most writers call it a series Bible or a book Bible or book binder or whatever. But I have one of those. I'm just really bad about updating it. So I don't so much outline that way, but I do use Scrivener, and so I will go in and I will type things out and put notes in Scrivener a lot that keep me on track for my different chapters, and then I can also pin them and tie them together if I need them to be tied between, say, projects. So that's my way of outlining. Caro's giving me some support that I should I outline the best way for me. Yes, I do. It's chaotic. It's kind of sloppy. My partner calls it 2 + 2 = fish. He says that's how my brain works. And so it's definitely, I found unique because it's organized, but it's organized chaos.
Yes. Well, my outlining is very minimalist, I should say. It's just a Word document. And I edit it and organize it until it's good enough. And I also have like a color chart. I think I showed that in one of my videos. I think so. Yes, I did. I have like a color chart because I write dual POV. So some chapters are for each of the characters and there are a few overlapping chapters. So I just write the heading of the chapter with the color that belongs to the character, or I leave it without color or just black for overlapping chapters. And then I have the graphic with the 2 square colors and the overlapping circle, and I see that it looks balanced. If it's not balanced, then I have to work on that. And I just edit that Word document until it's ready, and that's it. That's my very wonderful outline.
No, I like that, actually. I never would have thought to. I mean, I do color coordinate a little bit. Not a lot, but I do color coordinate a little bit. Like all of my post-it notes and index cards for book 3 are all the same color versus book 4. Those are all a different color. But I wouldn't have thought about going in and doing it per section or per scene, and then checking the balance that way. So that's really a great idea.
Thank you. I just want my books to not to feel like, oh, but this character had more page time than the other one. How is that a dual POV if it's more like this one belongs more to the story than the other one? Blah blah blah. I don't want people saying that. So they both have equal page time. Also because one of them is not disabled at all and the other one is, so I want to have the contrast of, look at this guy who is totally forever, and look at this other girl over here who is partially blind. Own voices. Yeah. Own voices. And look at how they have like a parallel story going on, even though they are very different and they live completely different lives in completely different settings, and they still have this very parallel connecting traits, so to speak, in their story. So that's what I try to do. I'm not saying that I am a master, because there's a lot of things that I need to fix, like everybody. So yeah, that's just what I am aiming for. That's my goal with my stories, to show the contrast, and showing how that contrast could be very similar at the same time.
No, yeah, I do like that. It looks like Key can commiserate with you a little bit on writing on an Android tablet or writing on an iPad. They said that their first draft of their first book and half of the second were all written on the Android tablet, and it's tough. The keyboard area is just too small for comfort.
Ooh,
agreeable.
Yes, it is. It's so relatable.
So
it's so relatable.
I had for a brief while, until I broke it beyond belief. I had an iPad, and it was decent sized. It was, I think, a 15-inch iPad. I mean, it was like having a whole computer monitor or laptop monitor. But even then, the keyboard was just so tiny, so narrow, that I found my hands like bumping each other, and my fingernails would get in the way and catch keys. And if I was using the touch screen, then my finger, anyway, it was just terrible. It was terrible. So it looks like Key also said that they did their outline by writing a history timeline written from a point of view of someone after all the events in the series, and then put it into a spreadsheet and assigned dates and places. So another spreadsheet person. So Caro, you and Key should get together and chat, I think, because I'm pretty sure Caro's
you two should hang out.
Yeah, Caro's actual slogan in life is I have a spreadsheet for that. So Jeannie just thanking Key for that idea, and Key keeps their World Bible in OneNote. That's a good idea.
I like that.
Yeah, I keep notes and things in OneNote. I also keep notes in Evernote. I also keep them in like a dozen notebooks that are behind me. I'm terrible.
I like Evernote. I like Evernote, and I'm going to tell you why. It has dark mode. Anything that has dark mode, I love it.
Yes, I know exactly how you feel about that. Evernote has dark mode, and it's amazing. Everything I own and can be turned into dark mode is turned into dark mode. Since I rely on captions so heavily, squinting at a bright screen with a dark box then that has bright lettering in it is it's so much eye strain and hurts so badly. Everything I own is in dark mode. I was so happy I have an Android phone, and my phone finally updated so that everything on it will permanently switch over to dark mode, with the exception of Facebook and Messenger, because they suck.
Messenger has dark mode.
Okay. Well, I'm going to have to go and look for it, because last time I checked, it did not have dark mode, but that was some time ago.
If you have Messenger Lite, probably not. But if you have the regular Messenger app, it has dark mode. So if anybody didn't know, there is the dark mode option.
Awesome. Yeah, and Grayson, they switch, but they love Evernote, saying it's amazing, and that they switch between Evernote and Noveler. I don't think I've ever used Noveler.
I
I'm
have
assuming
not
that
used that one either.
I'm assuming that's how that's pronounced. NOV. It looks like an LR. So yeah, I've never heard of it before. So maybe Grayson hook us up with a link or something, or we all might have to go and look at it. Hey, DR, looks like DR is here.
Hello.
Aw, it's so sweet. Apparently, we are two of DR's favorite author tubers, so I'll take it. I'll take all
That's
the compliments I can get.
awesome. Thank you. I'm so happy. I'm someone's like top 10 list favorite author maybe. I don't know. That's
I know.
awesome. Thank you.
I know. It's just like, all right, my weirdness rubbed off on somebody.
Yes.
So, Michael has been using Wavemaker. You know, I looked at Wavemaker after Caro did her video about it, and it's interesting, and I really like it. I think I'm just so entrenched in my Evernote and my Scrivener that I'm not sure. I'm reluctant to use something else.
I have never used Wavemaker and I have not seen that video from Caro. How is that possible? I watch everything that Caro publishes. Okay, that
I
maybe I was at work.
Maybe could have been. I don't
Yeah.
remember how long ago it was. Since I'm fairly new to the AuthorTube community, I mean, I've been watching some stuff for a while, but I'm new to this corner of the AuthorTube community. That I've
Mm.
been like binge watching everybody's videos and stuff. So I'm not sure exactly how long ago it was, but Caro says that she's just sneaky that way. So she just snuck in a video apparently.
And
So
I missed it. Okay, Caro. Okay.
so
You
Key
have a
said
cricket.
I do I have it is my one of my apps on my phone reminding me to do something. Um,
Ah, okay. Cricket. I was like, what is this? Sorry.
yeah, I thought I had it turned down so that it wasn't quite as loud. But I'm not a very good accurate judge of what's loud and what's not loud. So
Oops.
I'll turn it all the way down. Usually I don't keep anything on vibrate because I can't hear vibrate unless it's on me. And
Mhm.
my phone is in my holder off to the side of the computer, and so I thought I had it turned down, and there was nobody home to tell me that it wasn't turned down. So
Good on sprints then.
yeah, perfect for sprints. I have nobody home during this time of day, so it is perfect for me for sprints. So it looks like Tamara's here. Hey Tamara, she's done eating brunch
Hello.
and wants to know how everybody is doing. We are discussing how we outline and productivity, and we've done our first sprint and probably should consider doing another one. So we had one person that commented and said that 20-minute sprints were best for them because it kind of gave them 5 minutes to ease into it. So
Okay,
I guess we'll go for 20 minutes this time instead of 15.
let's do
Um,
that.
all right, so let's just pop another puppy up here and
Yeah.
we will get started in 3, 2, 1, sprint.
Sprint.
Oops. All right, so looks like that is the end of our 20-minute sprint. And we had a couple of people pop in. Looks like Dana came in. Oh, looks like just Dana came in, so not a couple people. Dana. But Tamara had some chicken tenders and garlic bread for brunch. So, yeah, I don't blame you,
That
doll.
sounds delicious. Yeah.
The food talk has made me hungry too, and I had lunch like right before this. So,
I had Chinese food before lunch, like before the sprints. So yeah, Chinese for lunch.
yeah, that sounds really good. I had chicken. That's what I had. So, looks like Jeannie said that her 6'5" significant other got bored from social distancing and reorganized the pantry, and now the most used item of ketchup was shoved to the back of a 7-foot shelf. She's only 5'5". Yeah, I understand. I understand how that can be. Perks of being a dwarf. Nice doll.
I am a humble 5'1", so
I don't have much on you. I'm a humble 5'4". So fortunately, my significant other, he's only like 3 inches taller than I am. So I'm fortunate that he's shorter as well. So we don't have too much of a problem. Key reorganized their pantry last October, and the canning stuff was dead center, middle shelf. Oatmeal was on the floor, tucked behind a gallon jug of cooking oil. And now canning stuff is out in the garage.
Oh boy.
Sounds like musical food, musical pantries. Poor Misha closed a document without checking how much they wrote.
Did you save it though?
Yes. So the important thing is, Misha, did you save that before you closed it? It's not important necessarily what the word count is. We'll take your word for it that you did write, but that you saved it. That's definitely the important thing. I've done that before. I've closed a document and not saved it, and it wasn't in Scrivener to where it was an autosave format. And I could have just kicked myself after doing it. Oh, good. Misha did save it and is backing it up. So always good.
That's awesome. That's what matters.
So how did everyone else do? How did you do, doll?
I have not finished my graphics yet, but that's going to take me this session and after the session as well. So I'm going to be working on that the whole day.
Yeah. Yeah, I had to stop for a minute, and I had to run outside and get the mail because the mail was here, and we're expecting to get a letter that we still haven't gotten. So, but then I was working a little bit on the thumbnail for next week's writing sprint, since I'm changing my time from Mondays to Fridays. So I had to update that graphic, do that real quick, and make sure it said the right day on it. And then
mine never has a word, so it's just the same picture.
Well, I mean, that works though. That works. So, and then I did manage to get about 4 more pages read and beta read with comments of the story that I'm betaing right now. So, and I managed to. I'm chatting a little bit with my cover designer, who's redesigning my covers for the anniversary editions of the books. So those should be coming out hopefully soon, probably this summer, with the 10-year anniversary covers.
Ooh.
So I was busy. I was really busy this past sprint.
Sounds really productive.
Yeah, it was.
Jenny was looking for ketchup.
Well, yeah, I can imagine, 5 foot tall, having to get up to the 7-foot shelf that you might have been spending a little bit of time. So, Key, it looks like Word crashed on Key, so they're not even sure how much of what they wrote was saved. We're all praying that it auto saved everything for you.
That's true. If you have a 10-year anniversary release, just let Tamara and Caro know for Author Tube News, so they also give you a shout out.
Oh yeah, I did not think about that, but thank you very much. I will do that, Doll, and I'll do that, Jeannie, and we will see. Misha is at 28,000 words total tonight. 280,000 words total tonight. So that must be total on the. What are you writing? That is like a severely epic. That's crazy. All right. Oh, it looks like Key only lost one sentence from from word crashing. That's not terrible. That's one sentence. We'll mourn it, but it's not absolutely terrible. So
it is an epic fantasy.
Yeah, okay. I figured it had to be. It either had to be epic fantasy or an epic sci-fi. Those are really the only two genres that come in, or well, I guess historical fiction. Historical fiction sometimes comes in like epic tomes of like I know that my dark fantasy, high fantasy that I'm writing right now is like just crossed the 150,000 word mark, and I'm only about a little more than halfway through it. So it'll be huge. Of course, editing's going to take that down a lot, but.
And here I am fearing that my second book will not, fear it too long. And I'm like, I don't want it to be over 110 words, 110,000,
Well, what genre are you writing in, though?
Sci-fi.
So sci-fi? But 110,000, that's respectable for sci-fi. I don't like...
It's a second book.
It's the second book?
Mm-hmm. Yes. The first one is around, it's a little bit under 90,000. So the first one is fine. I managed okay. But the second book has so much going on that I'm terrified.
No, I think you're good though. I think 110,000 is still very reasonable for sci-fi, and even though it has a lot going on in it, I think you're on the good path. I prefer my sci-fi and my fantasy to come in a little closer to the 100K mark than what I'm currently writing at. But again, I still have to do a bunch of editing, so you never know. It looks like Misha was saying that sad thing is I split my planned novel in half in an attempt to come in under 100,000 words. Yeah, I mean, if it does split in a good place, it might be a good idea to split it if you can. But again, also, it will depend a little bit on where you're at in the editing process. It looks like it's already been split and it won't split again.
Oh, no.
Just too much story, revising and still adding words to make sure all the storylines are complete. Is it the final one in the Misha, or are you planning a third book as well? Because you may not have to complete everything if you're planning on a third one. The little tendrils that just drag on into a third one. But unless they're major plot points, I guess. Oh, once she split it, it kept growing.
Oh boy.
Yeah. Oh, this is the third book in a 6-book series. That is going to be one heck of a series. If each book is going to be of epic length like that. So, well, how about everybody?
That's going to be our next Silmarillion, maybe.
Yeah, it'll be the next Silmarillion. Exactly. It'll be just this. It'll be like this huge, thick book volume of just like books, like she'll have to like line up the box series and it'll be like take up like a normal dining room size table or take up a whole shelf on the bookshelf. That would be great. Jeannie just loves it when characters keep having more to say. I do too. I do too. The first two books put together is half this monster's length. Well, I mean, that happens sometimes. The very first book that I ever published was a dark fantasy, and it is currently out of print. But it's actually what caused me. It's actually I rewrote that dark fantasy into the dark fantasy trilogy that I'm working on right now. So rewrote it and reworked it into almost a whole different story. And that first book was so tiny compared to how I've reworked it that I think it's just hilarious to compare like sometimes our works side by side and how long one is compared to another one. Like you said, Doll, your first one was 90,000 words, and then this one is 110 already, and probably not quite ready yet, but
yes,
yeah.
It could end up like around 115 after a long session of editing, of course.
Yeah, of course. He said that they had that problem with that are now books 2 and 3 in their fantasy series. The story took over and just ran with it, but it turned out for the best in the end. My head knew it was doing. And Misha doesn't want to force it into being shorter.
Don't force it. That's the best you can do.
Yeah, just go with it. And see where the story takes you. And I don't think readers are going to care. I think readers are just going to be happy that they have more story and can spend more time with the characters that they've already established a connection to.
Yes. If it's really good and if it's well written, then it doesn't really matter how long or short it is. It only matters when we are traditionally publishing and they have to cover the printing costs. It's more about the costs and the money than the actual story and the characters. So it will, what are you going to do with your story? And then you can start thinking on, oh, I have to make it shorter, longer, whatever. But if it's self-published or I don't know, maybe you don't have to worry so much. Maybe.
I think I agree to a certain point. So most of my books are indie published, are self-published. There is some consideration with the cost of the book and how much it costs you to order it, but really the printing costs for on-demand printing, depending on who you're going through, whether you're going through KDP or you're going through Ingram Spark or whomever, I really think that a lot of the printing costs are pretty reasonable. And then if you're not even wanting to really worry about printing costs, there's always just whether or not you put it out digital and digital only.
That's true.
Yeah. So Misha was saying that, so Key was saying that they wanted to kind of rejoin books 2 and 3 into a single volume because they belong together. And Misha was following up with saying the same with her books 1 and 2, that they're split now for better or for worse, she said. And books 3 and 4, she doesn't even think of them as a unit anymore, which I could see that. All right, so how is everyone feeling about doing another writing sprint? And what I figured we'll just probably stick with 20 minutes again. Sound good?
Yeah, I think it's good.
Good. Okay. Well, I was hoping to find a third puppy dog, but I could not find a third puppy dog. So we're gonna stick with the little guy in the glasses because he's adorable.
That guy is so cute. He's adorable. I want one.
I know. I want one. I want one so bad. Now I'm gonna have to be chasing my dog, both of my dogs around, trying to put glasses on them all day.
We need the picture on
If I can catch them and get them to sit still long enough for me to do it. I can barely get them to sit still for pictures anyway. The cat will sit still for a picture, but the dogs not quite so much. But if I can get them to sit still long enough and and they'll let me torture them, then definitely definitely gonna try that. So all right, so we're gonna begin our next sprint. 3, 2, 1, and go. right, so it looks like we are back.
Hello there.
All right. How did everybody do?
I am still working here. I had to
Making
put the phone
progress?
to charge though. Yes, I had to put the phone to charge though. So that's why I went a little bit more in the chat this time. So the phone is charging.
Yeah, I had to pop off and take a phone call from my partner because he's waiting on something in the mail, and apparently I didn't answer his text fast enough. So I had to pop off and take a call from him, and then of course I had to refresh my tea because I need my tea.
So yeah, that's a problem with working with a bright screen and editing colors and images. Yeah, so I was more in the chat, and then I was talking with Key on their manuscript. So yeah, that was pretty interesting because it seems like you have a lot of plot points, and it turns out to be very complex. But that's what happens when you write a story about multiple universes. So that popped up in the chat about multiple universes and a very long time span, more than 4,000 years. Did I read correctly? So it seems like it's a very complex story. But my only thought would be, what is your story actually about? Because yes, on the external level, it is about all these plot points and the universes and the goddess and the people solving problems in other universes. Sure. It's all that. But what is this story about? What is the heart of the story? Because if you take the heart of the story, then it becomes a lot easier to, quote unquote, kill your darlings.
Mm-hmm. Agreed. I definitely agree there. It looks like the current one Key was saying is about them fighting to regain the archives brought by the original refugees. So that may be a little bit more about what this particular manuscript is, or this particular project is about. And their 4,000 years worth of timeline is a long time.
Mm.
Rough
Okay.
plots for about a dozen books, novellas, and short stories, and more pop up all the time.
Okay. That happens a lot. It's good that you keep your spreadsheets though, so you have like an organized place where you can find all your popping up ideas, because we have so many ideas. I wish I did that. I have many ideas all the time, but I do not consider all of them story worthy. So I probably lose a lot of story worthy ideas because I'm not thinking deep enough, maybe. So
Don't
it's good
worry.
that you're having that.
I think we all kind of do that just a little bit, where we lose ideas every so often, and some of them aren't story or aren't worthy of like our attention. At least maybe not right then. But it looks like Mike popped in with us. Hi, Mike. Glad to have you in on the stream. And Jeannie got about halfway through a chapter this time, which is nice. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So it looks like Mike is meeting somebody that they haven't seen in a long time.
It seems that it's a plot for a story.
Maybe that's what I'm guessing. Is this a plot for a particular story, Mike, that you're working on?
Maybe you're working on a romance. Seems to be.
Yeah, I mean, maybe it's a slice of life or a romance or
Yeah.
Yeah, Key, I definitely agree that you should write whatever you want. They're your words, they express what you want, what you need to say, and they are definitely unique to every single person. So, and I agree with you, Keith. You write because the worlds in your head need to come out. I always tell everybody that I write because otherwise my eyes would pop out of my head from everything that's in there.
I write because I sometimes want to share things, but I don't know how to organize my thoughts properly sometimes when I speak. And apparently, I have become better at communicating things when I'm writing. I used to be more of an
I think
extrovert before, not anymore.
not so much anymore.
No, I used to be very extroverted. When I was like, let's say, childhood, I was very, very extrovert. Well, something happened and not anymore. And it seems like writing is my best bet now.
I think for those of us who are writers, it's easier to communicate that way because I don't know what it is about it. It's just easier to communicate through a written word than it is through a spoken word for some reason. I know it is for me, and it seems to be that way for a lot of writers. So it looks like Key did about 138 words, and of course a lot of chatting, which is not so bad. Barbara had some loose ideas and writing in a notebook that I think will fit nicely in this story I'm working on, trying to plug it in neatly. If you can figure out how to get it in there neatly, Barbara, tell me what the secret is, because I can never get them in there neatly until I've rewritten it 15 times. Oh, that's good, Key. You did figure out how to handle an awkward section of your story.
Awesome.
That is really good. Sometimes it amazes me how things just will come to us, on how to completely redo a section that's just been plaguing us for a while. And I don't know. I think it's very interesting. So
Sometimes my solutions will come from dreams.
oh,
Sometimes.
usually my ideas come from dreams, and then those ideas are problematic, and then I have to stop and actually think about how to make them, actually how to come up with a solution for them. So it's interesting that yours is the reverse.
Yes.
The reverse of it.
I remember the last no, not the last one, the NaNoWriMo of 2018 when I tried to do NaNoWriMo, and that was not a good time in my life to do NaNoWriMo. Same happened in 2019. I tried and oops, something happened and it was not a good time to do Nano. So November has been a mess. But anyway, in 2018, I remember I was writing chapter 10 of the second book, the second one, book 2, and then I was kind of not stuck, but it's the beginning of NaNoWriMo. I did not know what to do. And then I fell asleep because I was a little bit tired. Depression is a thing. Well, anyway, I had a very strange dream and I woke up the next day and that was chapter 11. And I wrote chapter 11 in one day because of a dream.
That's great.
Sometimes it happens.
Sometimes it happens. Sometimes it just I like to take that line from there's a line that I always remember specifically from Field of Dreams, and it's where Kevin Costner's character is quoting to James Earl Jones's character one of the books that he wrote, and it was talking about the cosmic tumblers clicking into place. And that's very much how I think of things sometimes, is like the cosmic tumblers clicking into place, and like all of that just working for us and doing, all of that, like, and that our brains do that. That's what's amazing to me, is that our brains do that. So, well, it looks like we are right at about time, here in about 9 minutes or so. So we could try to get in another 15-minute sprint if we wanted to. We'd go a little bit over, but if nobody else minds, then I don't mind. I want to be, respectful of your time though, doll. So I don't know if that will be a
I'm
problem for
fine.
you or not.
I'm fine.
You're good?
We can hang out. Yeah, I'm good.
Okay, cool. So let's try and squeeze in another 15-minute sprint real quick. And my computer is suddenly being really slow. I don't know why. I mean, it happens. It happens. Technology. It's wonderful and terrible at the same time. All right.
It's your
So
best friend and your enemy all at once.
exactly. Exactly. All right. So let's go back to our original adorable puppy dog face. All right. And we're going to go in 3, 2, 1.
Sprint!
Sprint! Okay.
Yay!
Yay! So it looks like one last sprint squeezed in. And she told us about every
We did
book that
it!
she's doing so far. Yeah, we did it. So we got through a nice sprint, and that way we got several sprints in, which is good. Hoping everybody was able to be productive. How did everybody do this time? Doll, you make a little more progress on your graphics?
Yes, and also I found more followers of sci-fi on Instagram, which is good for my marketing. So
Very
getting
good for
there,
your market.
getting there.
So were you looking under specific keywords or under specific hashtags, or how are you going
Though
about finding your Insta followers?
it was just a matter of I opened my Instagram, which is I just did it, and there was this post, like a repost about like sci-fi people finding each other on Instagram and following each other and supporting each other. I was like, okay, I'm gonna jump on that bandwagon. So I shared it, and
Yeah,
then I'm gonna be like exploring all those Instagram accounts, and I'm going to try to interact with them a little bit, and so on. I'm
that
always
is
on the look. I'm always on the look for like people like in similar spaces to what I am doing with my art and projects. So if I find them, I am interacting with everybody. That it's I am a very introverted person, but when it comes to art and finding other artists, I apparently become an extrovert somehow.
because you're
It's weird.
passionate. It's because you're
Hmm.
passionate about those particular things, so you can talk about them with ease.
Yes, it feels like I have a purpose.
Yeah, wow, I understand that very, very much. Um, Looks like Jeannie finished a chapter. So that is good. I finished about 4 more pages and of the beta read and got some notes in there for her and reached out to her on Reddit, which is actually where I found the beta reading, where I found this book to beta read. There are a bunch of threads on subreddits on Reddit about beta reading and looking for beta readers. So if that's something that you all are interested in doing, I highly recommend checking out Reddit for that. Speaking of checking out people, Doll, what is your Instagram?
The same as everything. All my social media is under Dal Cecil Bruno,
Okay,
like my name.
just making sure. So everybody, if you're not
Mhm.
already following Doll, you should go out and follow her on Instagram. And then that way we can all promote each other on Instagram as well. And I'm on Instagram as
Yes.
well under BC Brown Books. So you can always follow me there as well. So, okay, well, it looks like we are over time for today. And I believe Chloe and Sandy's stream will be finishing up here probably in like 15 or 20 minutes or so. So if anybody wanted to do another quick chat and productivity sprint, I bet they probably have one going on. So we could go do that.
If you also know, I also think if you know Emily Byrne, I think she was also having sprints. I don't know if it's still going, but yeah, Emily was also having sprints. It all depends who do you follow on AuthorTube, but there is always a sprint going on somewhere.
Somewhere we're sprinting, we're trying to be productive. Yeah. I don't actually
Yes.
follow Emily, so I may have to go and look at her and try and follow her as well. I don't have time for another sprint today, for another productivity sprint today, but I can go and look in the future and see about.
Yes.
Oh, and yay, it looks like Grayson says that Emily is still going with their sprints, so that is
Awesome.
good. Awesome.
Yeah.
All
Oh,
right,
another
you.
thing, Key, just contact me on social media if you want to talk about it. Fantasy is not my main genre, but I can still have an eye for like overall plot and like consistency and like connections and parallels between all your books. So if you want to talk about it, maybe I can help in some way. So yes, just contact me on social media.
Yeah, that would be great. And you all are very welcome for the stream. I want to thank Doll for joining me today and co-hosting.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Of course, been very amazing having you here today. So why don't we go ahead and do our outros, and I will let you go first, Doll.
All right. Thank you again for having me here and for putting up with me and my weirdness. That's why I like BC Brown, because it's all about being weird and being you. So it's awesome. Thank you. I am Dol Cecile Renaud. I'm a partially blind alien from a distant galaxy, and I happen to be an own voices author. Well, own voices and sci-fi writer, author, some poetry sometimes. In most of the major social media platforms, and in all of them, I am Dol Cecile Bruno, so I'm very easy to find.
Wonderful. Thank you. And I am BC Brown of BC Brown Books, which is what you can find me on most social media platforms. I host writing sprints, or I have been hosting writing sprints on Monday, but they will be going to Fridays at 3:30 till 5:30 p.m. Eastern time. And I write urban fantasy, paranormal mysteries, and contemporary women's lit. And I like to get weird here on YouTube with people. So come in, check me out. I will, like I said, moving my writing sprints till Fridays, starting not this Friday, but Friday the 27th of March. And I host regular writing, publishing, and marketing videos for everybody on Wednesdays. So check me out there, and thanks so much for joining us, everybody, and stay weird, okay?
Bye-bye.